Sweet. I will just actually get rid of that Zoom room in case, the waiting room in case anyone comes in. Cool. All right. So starting the week on GU, obviously massive bearish leg, massive major inducement, mitigating the decisional point of that break. Obviously super bullish since we took out that low, so not expecting this area to hold, but it did take a little bit of liquidity, so just expecting a little bit of a reaction from it. Double checking that. Yeah. Yeah, so demand to supply area, two leg, demand point, two leg. Running off the back of that. Cool. Coming into session timing, we did have a couple of 5-minute breaks. Obviously, they took Asia high, so we've got sellers brought in there, taking up those sellers, got our medium inducement for the session. And then this was that break even that I think a fair few of us took. So aggressive price action, but retest area of that break. Obviously not expecting the retest to hold. A little bit of a two leg out of it. The two leg was actually, the limit was actually set after that break there. So yeah, choppy two leg, that one was pretty fucking average to start the week, but run off the back of that and break even at the low, which most of us obviously took. That's my bad. I actually had that set at the high. Sweet, sweet. So yeah, obviously break even, but clean nonetheless. Good setup. But yeah, just not quite enough of an inducement, I don't think, with that one. And really a whole lot in the way of target. That's probably break even you could probably avoid. Like yes, you do have a medium inducement. Yes, you do have a mitigation, but yeah, that's all you've really got to target. But that was around 1 to 3-ish, I think. Yeah, 1 to 2.6. So worth taking, but very understandable why the break even occurred there. Now for New York, this was really, really, really freaking tidy. So you had a couple of bearish breaks out of here. Heaps of sellers brought in. I believe we induced that supply. Yeah, we actually induced that supply there. So we've had medium inducement with that, medium inducement with that high. This area here, which was very valid to hold. So as long as we were getting in before we mitigated that, we were sweet. And then understanding with this as well that we have obviously broken a 15-minute high here. So given that we've got break, internal break, the take of this builds that internal retest. So we want to break even as soon as we push through that point, which obviously we were getting in off the back of that smart money area. Obviously, one inducement, two inducements. That was a prime entry, having it set off that break. Realistically speaking, I didn't need to wait for that bit of retest as you've got two breaks. We're not just working with the two legs, so we're fine to use the actual breaker structure. But either way, going off that break or going off the retest was really clean with this one. Were you in this as well, Roy?
No, I missed this one. I think
Missed
the
it?
reason being was I was watching EU, I
Oh
believe.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
From memory, like EU was inducing at like the external high or something like
Yeah.
that, but it actually
Yeah.
never ended up setting up. So
Yeah. EU was really clean. EU's
yeah,
inducement at the
yeah,
time was, yeah, really tidy. Yeah, it had
yeah,
that
that's right. That's why.
external
Yeah,
inducement. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah,
yeah.
never gave an entry.
No. So I was a bit focused on EU, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
missed it. So
No, that's fair.
unfortunate one. Very clean trade, but yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Just a simple one, eh? It's
yeah, very simple. Yeah.
quite an easy read, that one.
Yeah, yeah. It's just
Which is,
that's a bit of a bit of a gimme
Ah,
trade, but all good.
y- yeah, 100%. But is definitely fair to have been watching EU over it because yeah, EU obviously took like that main
Yeah,
high.
it's
So
taken that high. Yeah, it's
yeah, I'm
good. It
pretty
was good to reflect though, because
yeah.
like, I kind of expected EU to set up. Like I had the
Yeah. Yeah.
expectation that it was going to give an entry,
Yeah,
which it
no,
did.
that's fair. I think if we actually look at them like side by side, and I think that's where you just have to be so diligent with the setups, hey, and like diligent with
Yeah.
price action. So
Mm.
yeah, the divergence was fucking even really tidy on the way that obviously we've just got
Yeah.
fucking EU pushing,
Yeah.
G
Like that.
respecting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's fair though. I think this is one where it's just a matter of like just really following both on what they're doing. Because if
Yeah.
GU didn't set up, you're still very valid to use that as a smart money point at EU and try and sell it. Um,
Yeah.
but I think given the fact that yeah, GU essentially yeah was going to be the one to set up first because like as soon as EU broke that high
Yeah.
which a break here, you know you're going to need two confirmations again, like two inducements again, because you're restarting the
Yeah.
first
That's right.
one.
Yeah.
Whereas like GU obviously had its first inducement and you're only waiting on the second, which
Second. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
which you're actually
Much
like
more likely.
getting as soon as EU broke its
One of
external.
the
So you're essentially
things.
getting a second inducement when EU
Yeah.
was doing
Like
its first.
I don't watch them at the same time because I can't, because
Oh,
I'm
don't
just on my
you?
laptop. Nah, because I'm just on my
Yeah,
laptop, so
okay.
like I can't handle
No,
the
no,
split
you can't.
screen on. It's just too small.
It's
So
way
like
too small.
this week off, man, I'm getting another monitor so I can like
Yeah.
a portable monitor so I can watch both, because
Yeah. I wonder what
if
it
I
would be
have
like getting one of those adapters for your screen, how you can like kind of put them
yeah,
out.
I'm gonna get one that sits on like a little tripod just like behind my
Oh
computer.
yeah.
So it's
Yep.
like
Yep.
stacked. So my screens are stacked rather than coming
Yeah,
out
rather than
sideways.
long ways.
Yeah, because
That might be right.
that'll
So
be
then you're
better
just
for
like straight up and down.
straight up and down. It's better for like I move around heaps, so like I have like small spaces that I
Yep.
trade from. So yeah,
Yep.
like stacked monitors should be better. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
probably.
that's
I
a good
mean,
idea.
yeah, I reckon I'll do that because it'll make it a bit nicer rather than flipping between tabs all the time. Like it's
Yeah.
a pain in the
Oh, bro,
ass.
you
Yeah,
can't do it. That's why I dropped
yeah,
AU because you
yeah. Too
just
many. Yeah,
you
yeah,
can't flip between tabs. Like it's just
yeah,
you like I don't know. When you're doing it like that, you almost just have to say locked in on just the one, like pick one and
yeah.
just
Because that's
stay.
what I was doing with EU, right? I was like, oh yes, sweet,
Yeah.
took that really nice high. Okay,
Yeah,
cool,
of
cool, cool. And
course.
then like GU, like the entry kind of already gone, and I was like, fuck.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Yeah,
Mm,
that makes it hard. That does make it hard for sure. 100%. 100%. That'd
I'll
be good
sort
to
of
get a
that.
monitor then.
Yeah.
But you know, it was tidy. It was tidy. And this one, yeah, it's an interesting one, like targets for it. Given what it's taken, like you can obviously just run 1 to 3. I think just running 1 to 3 where it was more or less at the take of that low makes the most sense, just given the bullish context of it. And
Yeah.
like you could have held to this point, you know, but it's like that's a medium inducement in itself being about that 50% of Asia. But
Yeah.
I think just running a 1 to 3 on this makes sense. Like this would be one of those
I
ones
agree.
where
Yeah.
yeah, if you didn't take the 1 to 3 here and you got to like there and it came all the way back up, kind of like my Monday one on EU and took you out at break even, like trying to get an extra zero point 0.3, zero point 0.4 or whatever, but
Yeah.
turning down the rest of it just, yeah,
But
would
that's
be,
exactly what
yeah.
did happen to me on the Monday because I took EU
Yeah. Yeah,
as
you took
opposed
that
to
same
GU.
break even as me.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. And it
Yeah.
ran like to 2.7 or something.
Yeah.
Um, because it was the same scenario here. Like it's had an SMT reaction as well out of
Yeah.
that bigger supply area.
Yeah.
So it does make sense to push bullish from that 1 to 3 or from that low, So
100%.
1 to 3 makes sense on that trade.
Yeah. Yeah. No, completely agree. Completely agree. That would be a silly 1 to 3 to leave on the table. Oh, it's done this thing again. Yeah, that would be a silly one to leave.
Yeah.
Um, cool. All right. Tuesday, this Tuesday price action was just rank. That was really bad. Obviously sitting inside that bearish leg, clear break. Obviously, looking like we're going to respect the range just given the complex pullback. But that price action, that build up was just horrible. So obviously we had all the equal highs with that 15-minute high. Finally got the sweep. There is there is an entry in here, but I just think it's with all the equal highs and everything, it's just so iffy. So you've got the sweep of all those equal highs there now, which is more or less like a medium inducement. Obviously, then expecting this area to not hold, given what we've taken.
I'll be back in a sec, Dill.
You're good, bro. So at this point, we do have an internal break. Got a retest sitting here. Ideally, you want that taken. You get swept there, mitigate that top point. So like that is valid as a limit, but it's yeah, very average. EU is definitely the better ones to be watching at this point in time. But yeah, just understanding one inducement, two inducement, mitigation, break. There's nothing left for price to obviously come back up and mitigate or induce. It's done everything it needs to, and now it's confirmed break a structure. Whereas when we're down here, we still get a retest to induce. Our limit would have been there right at the low, so it's just not worth taking. At least here we've got a little bit of room to the break even. So valid trade. Um, but yeah, just it's just very iffy price action. So personally, I'm not actually going to have that on there as I really don't think, yeah, just really not a fan of that price action at all. But it is a valid setup and it does hit take profit. Oh, it's done this 1 minute thing again. Mad. Something, yeah, it does that. Cool. All right. For New York, we do have another valid entry, but there is definitely some risk behind it. So, of course, as we know, we're sitting inside that leg. We've had that retracement, we've had that build up, we've had that inducement, and now we've had a break of structure to the downside. So this is more or less confirming with that break that we are following with that bearish structure cycle, which means, of course, that this area shouldn't hold, especially being Asia low, especially with some liquidity sitting at the bottom of it. So we do have the mitigation of that area, which has pushed us up to induce inside of that 5 minute bearish leg, respecting the high, but it built more equal highs. Now we've got triple equal highs in an area that's just flooded with highs. So it's just, yes, this is a sweep, but it's only just a sweep, and we've made equal highs again. So yes, this is an inducement, but there's definitely a lot of risk behind this trade with just that liquidity build up there. But it is valid. It is a valid inducement. And then you do have a smart money trap here. Obviously, not expecting that point to hold given the inducement. You've then got two breaks out of it. So very valid to have that limit set there like that, and targeting the lows of the range, which is, yeah, 1 to 3.2. So very clean, very valid setup. Just carrying a lot of risk, obviously, off the back of those equal highs, but it is clean, much cleaner than this inside of here playing in that chop. You do have a bit more decisiveness behind the inducements and the area we're coming from. Cool. All right. Sweet. Moving on to what are we? A Wednesday. So we've pushed through all that area now. We're kind of sitting in a little bit of no man's land up here. We are inside of this point, which is a bit of a demand to supply area, but pretty irrelevant to current price actions. Not paying too much attention to it. More so just focusing on the inducements that we've got. So of course we've got a medium inducement here. This is also the high that's taken Asia high. So yes, we do have a valid medium inducement. If this was in timing, this would be valid to look for a sell-in, but obviously it's out of timing. So what we have is a 5 minute two leg. We get that 5 minute two leg induced. So now we've got medium inducement. We've got medium inducement with the take of this, but we've also got medium inducement into minor inducement. So we've just got a stack of medium and minor inducements here. You then have, of course, your first inducement, break of structure, one leg, two leg. There's your second inducement inside of your range. We are valid to set that. You can also view this as one break, two breaks. Very clean, very valid to have that set. Um, Straight off, yeah, straight off that low. It's also valid to set it like that. If you don't get on in on that initial entry, that is the entry that would have gotten you tagged in. Personally, I had that limit set just off the mitigation, so I didn't get tagged. Became invalid for me once we took that's what I wanted to be in up there. If you are going to be entering off the break of that, we need to confirm that this is a breaker structure and not retest. So you would need retest on top of it as well. But yeah, didn't get tagged on that personally. But yeah, either way you have it set is clean, but valid break even. Obviously sweeping this low here is yeah, a massive inducement. So it's actually valid to look for buys off of the inducement of that area being a 15-minute retest. So there does end up being a buy entry, but it's yeah, a bit of an interesting one. So obviously looking to use that point as a smart money trap given the inducement. The entry is right. It's right there. So I personally don't like it. Yeah, not a big fan of it. You've got one inducement, you then have to run with break, break, and you're using either, but this point or this point as retest for your second inducement and confirmation of smart money trap confirmed. Personally, I was not happy with that as a second inducement. Still getting imbalance down inside that leg, and it's just such a small take of liquidity. Personally, I just wasn't happy with it. Do I think it's valid? Yep, I do think it's valid, but it's just fucking risky. The other issue with this one as well is you don't have a lot to target. Like you could look to target the inducement of the supply, but it doesn't even get you a one to three. Um, so I think with this one, given the risk and the what you can target, I don't think it's worth it. So personally, haven't got that on there. The break even on the sell was really clean, but yeah, I don't have that personally as valid. Um, Ends up coming all the way back. So you would have won the break even anyway. I feel like that's a very avoidable break even. Why can't I do 15-minute bloody intervals again on my thing? So what is the 15-minute, man? Oh, fuck off. All right, cool. All right, New York. We are at the extreme of that leg mitigation. Very strong mitigation, but that momentum leading into it is just insane. Trying to sell against that is just just stupid. So it's a good area, but it's invalid just because of that momentum. We don't want to be trying to fight that. That's just not worth it. Cool. All right, and then this is the one that I think all of us missed. This one's probably what I would say the trade of the week. Yeah, medium inducement. We did get a fair ways away from the medium inducement. We came up and mitigated the final area inside of that point. Um, of course, understanding this should be a bit bigger. That's my bad. Understanding that this area shouldn't hold, given where price is coming from. We're at the extreme of that bearish leg. We know that if this is going to be a smart money trap, it's going to need to induce some pretty significant liquidity to bring in enough sellers from this area to be able to blow through that high. As that's the high we'll be looking to target. So at the very least, we're going to be coming down to take that low, even more so this low, being a more significant piece of structure. But at the very least, we're coming for that. So out of here, we've got one break, two break, 15-minute two leg into that extreme mitigation. Just so far out of time. I mean, this is one where, as I discussed in the case study, you have to be using EU as the divergence for this. There's no way to catch this trade, I don't believe, in a way that would be creating good habits without watching EU. So of course, we've got that first inducement there. Obviously, medium inducement, high that took Asia, two leg inducement, minor inducement. So the issue with this one as well, obviously on GU alone, is it's creating good bearish order flow, sorry, bullish order flow, which made it a little bit sketchy. But you do have obviously your valid inducements into the mitigation. You've also induced that point there, which is the demand to supply of that more so like 5 minute range. So yeah, one inducement, mitigation, smart money point, two leg, nice and simple, fill in all its imbalance, break. So 1 minute price action is just it's so clean. It's such an easy read. You're in straight away. Yeah, you can wait for a little bit of retest if you want. But there's so many ways to be able to get into that. Um, but yeah, just the tricky part about that one's timing, being able to make sure that you're actually on for that setup. And yeah, that's where that EU comparison came in. So which of that case study no one has already? Hope they can fix this bug sometime, eh?
You seem to have a heaps of trouble with it, eh? Like, I
Bro,
don't get that. I don't really get that on TradingView when I go in replay.
you know what's annoying about it? I never get it when I'm doing it myself.
Yeah.
I only get it. It only seems to happen when I do these calls.
I
It's
wonder if it's because like I don't know, like because you're doing the call, like it's somehow
I don't know,
flagging
bro.
the internet or fucking something.
I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it's a pain in the ass. I wonder if it does
Oh
it
man,
on.
painful.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Technology, bro. Just me and
It's
technology.
not my yeah, not my strong suit either, really.
Nah. I seem to just clash with it. Oh, it's working
I always have
now.
heaps of trouble with FX replay. Like
Oh, bro.
my drawings always like extend left.
Bro, this randomly you've got a box over your
Just
screen.
randomly, I got a box that's like never ending to the left, and I'm like,
Yeah,
what point was that? Like, yeah,
yeah,
okay, good. Oh,
100%.
it's not just me.
Nah. Happens all the
Oh
time
yeah,
where you
fuck,
have
that's
like
annoying.
your RR tool. You just have a random one
Yeah,
floating somewhere, and it's like,
yeah,
where did
just
that come
randomly
from?
floating.
Damn it! Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like to keep mine on there because I like to go back over them all, and it's like
yeah,
you can't find where it went. Damn it!
yeah. Makes it hell confusing to look at.
Oh yeah, fucking oath. Um, Wicked. So yeah, coming into New York, obviously off the back of that, like that's the one you want to be in. But we did have a mitigation of the final 5 minute point for New York. Just knowing that again, this low shouldn't hold. This is a valid area. Yes, we have the medium inducement, but breaking this low, as I explained in the case study, confirms this. demand as our smart money point. So looking to sell through the rest of it's fine, but obviously you're very deep in that leg now in that range. We want to be selling, of course, higher up if possible. So it does become a bit average in that sense. And yeah, no entry there anyway, but clean nonetheless. So valid area is just yeah, bit risky and no entry. Friday? Yeah, Friday. This is the one that I wish I was in and not EU. Um, cool. Mitigation of this point. So one's not a supply to demand, just a valid demand. Obviously, a taken liquidity, really nice inducement into it. Yes, we are against momentum, but given everything that was swept here, all these valid lows, of course, we're going to expect a bit of an inducement. And a bit of a retracement, and just knowing that if we are going to continue bearish, we need to induce something first to confirm this as a smart money trap, which is more or less going to be this point retest of that break. Um, Also mitigating this area here, retest being a smart money point. We also have a couple of 5-minute breaks to the downside there as well. So looking to be able to buy through it. Now, obviously, got those couple of breaks there. Would have been really nice if this had have come down into that range, but obviously just missed it. But yeah, we then had after sweeping Asia lows, we've got a 5-minute two leg. So this is technically a medium inducement. Given that we've taken Asia lows, we've now got Asia high to target as well. Heaps of liquidity sitting up above. So yeah, we're sitting in a nice spot. Looking to confirm this area as a smart money trap, of course, off the back of this point being a smart money trap. Got break, retest. Retest is induced, but we're yet to mitigate everything down inside this leg. This point hasn't mitigated anything, so ideally want to see that point get induced, which we do get just prior to timing. We've now got a new bearish leg inside of a smart money bearish leg. So expecting this point to hold, obviously off the back of that. This did pretty well come down and mitigate everything, which is nice. Coming into timing, this was where I decided to watch EU because I didn't love this price action on GU. After taking that, you got an internal break. You've got a little low here, which the smart money trap does pull down and induce and break high. So you can 100% see this break to the upside here as, sorry, that break to the upside there after we induced as your confirmation of this point not holding and being a smart money trap, which is where Brad was in. Brad had that as his entry. Um, Personally, just a bit aggressive for me. If it had to come down inside of that range, maybe a bit would have been a bit more open to it. But yeah, personally, was just a bit aggressive for my liking. He then also had break, retest. So you get inducement of retest, which also forms a two-leg into mitigation. So again, at the sweep of that, you can also have that set, which is what I did mark out for GU. But yeah, I preferred EU at the time. And again, I really wanted to come down and get that inducement, the second inducement inside of our range. But either set up that or that are both very valid. Knowing that if we push through this, we should push through this as it should be confirmation of this whole area not holding. So just holding off your break even until you sweep that high, just in case we do want to come down and give a little inducement off the back of that before potentially pushing. So holding break even to there. Obviously that pushes. Now this is one where you very well can partial or hold it full. Um, I don't think it makes sense on this one to take less than the 1 to 4 at Asia High, like given the setup, the confirmations, the liquidity sweep, the fact that there's not really anything inside of here that should push us down. Our break even here is more or less that 50% of Asia. So if the 50% of Asia is going to act as a medium inducement, it's going to push us down there anyway and force the break even. So I think it's worth holding full to the high. And if you're going to partial it, partialing it there. And then also as well, knowing that if we do take this high, that's more or less confirmed this whole area as a smart money trap. So we should be coming for that high anyway. So yeah, that is one where you can partial 1 to 4, full at the high for a 1 to 5.8. I think if I've got this marked out properly. Yeah. Yeah, 1 to 5.75. So whatever that works out to be, fuck, 2.8. Yeah, so 4.8 R total if you partial it or just full there or full there. I think this one makes sense. It's a Friday. You're up massive for the week. Like if you catch that, you catch EU's setups. You've taken that, you take that, like you're up for the week. So yeah, holding that full to the high makes a bit of sense in my opinion. May as well may as well rinse it. Makes sense structurally. So yeah, very well could have pulled 5.7 out of that. At the very least, you're taking 4% out of that. At the very least. So yeah, beautiful setup. Beautiful setup. Just the 1 minute price action on that is definitely hard to read. And aggressive. Fucking aggressive. Cool. And then to finish off the day, this is obviously supposed to be NFP, but NFP was tentative from the US government closing. I'm not really going to be trading New York session while that's all going on. Yeah, a bit sketchy, especially when there's news. I won't touch New York when there's news now, until that sorts itself out. So yeah, I don't think this is worth going near. I will just add on this tentative FP. But either way, if that was normal price action, you get a 15-minute two leg, which is obviously a medium inducement. So you're valid to look for sellers in here, but there's nothing in there. So all in all, GU was a monstrous week. If we just focus on what you have session timing, you've got potential 1 to 4 at least, break even, 1 to 3.2. Again, a bit risky, but valid. So what's that? 4, 7. That's I think that one was in timing. Was that a little bit out of time? No, that one was in timing. And then yes, fuck, 10.2% on GU alone potential. So yeah, tidy. Tidy. Fuck, that hurts looking at that 8. That's not even including that.
Oh
You're
yeah.
taking bro, that hurts. That hurts. Like I had a good week, but there's so
Yeah,
much
like
left on the table.
man, I can't complain. I was up 3% for the week. That's still. I felt like I feel like I was like, fuck. I kind of felt like I had a shit week,
Yeah,
even though I was
yeah,
up,
yeah,
because there's
100%.
just
I'm the
so much
same.
opportunity
Yeah, yeah,
there.
I agree. I had
Yeah,
8.5 R up for the week. And I look at
yeah,
this and
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah. You had a banging week.
how the fuck did I only end up 8.5?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, just nuts. I was in that, wasn't in that. So it's like, this one carried a bit of risk with equal highs, so that's fine. This one carried a bit of risk with the 1 minute PA,
yeah.
but
I was bummed with the Friday session because I got home from work like a little bit later, so
oh no.
I couldn't. Yeah, that were again nice trades, and I wasn't on, so
Yeah,
I
yeah, they
got
were
on, and I
clean.
seen his room, and I was like, oh fuck, yeah, that's hell clean. Damn, I would have taken that.
Bro, I was in EU
Anyway,
and GU was flying and he was just sitting there. And I was like,
yeah, I
no.
remember watching that because yeah, I only just got because EU's 1 minute PA was clean for your entry.
Yeah,
Um, yeah,
yeah.
just sat around for ages.
Bro, ridiculous.
Gee,
And
was
then
just
it
gone.
sat point 0.1 under my TP for 19 minutes.
Yeah.
I had to stop at
uh,
1 to 2. I was like, I'm not
yeah.
doing this. Like,
I'm not playing this game
I'm not
again, eh?
taking a break even after being point 0.1. It's like,
Yeah.
nah. And then it's like dancing between. my 1 to 3 and 1 to 2, and
I
I'm
reckon
like,
I would have closed today. I probably would have closed it. I reckon. I was like, I can't.
yeah,
I wouldn't have been able to see another like third equal high. And been like, nah,
oh
two point
man, there
seven.
was
That'll do.
yeah, there was so
Yeah.
many equal highs. It was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, then it flew. Straight after I took it, it just flew.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like,
It did. It had
yeah,
some like big candles
sweet.
after that.
Yeah, weird, but yeah, all part of the fun. All part of the
Yeah.
fun.
That's it.
It is such a solid week, man, and this hurts to do
Yeah.
this
Hugely.
recap, eh?
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Fucking
a mad
hurts.
week.
Yeah, there's so much potential. There's so much opportunity. Killer. So yeah, obviously on EU we had that major inducement, of course, expecting a bit of a push after that. Same story as GU, mitigating this area, which was way nicer on EU. Like this high was broken. We had a really nice inducement here off that demand area. So really, really nice demand to supply area. And we had a much better build up and slower retracement on EU. So sitting in a good spot. Only issue with this trade is we didn't have a medium inducement. And this is where I fumbled my management personally. I should have closed it there. Um, so we've swept Asia highs, which isn't good in itself. Like that doesn't really help us. We have the break, excuse me, 5 minute break. We've got retest here. We've got internal inducement here. We've got internal inducement here. This inducement being the main one besides the retest, just given that it is the demand to supply area that took liquidity. This is also in itself, but obviously that high we can just see based on what it's induced and how it's formed. It's way more significant. So really, really good inducement, but you can mark out anyone, mark out that, or that. They're all valid to use on their own. Of course, respecting that structure cycle, now we won't expect this area to hold. We get that internal inducement. Now, again, running the same thing. Smart money point, looking for that area to not hold. We've got one break, two breaks. Now, the prime entry for this one is 100% at that first break. Feel bad for Brad for not getting tagged in that somehow. But that's yeah, that's definitely the prime entry, which does get you your 1 to 3. So yeah, that's a bit annoying that one. But yeah, very valid to have that set, but I had it set, and I think most of us that were in it took it when we broke that low, and yeah, I'm surprised with that momentum, man, that we didn't get through that next point.
Yeah.
That
I agree.
was
Like you see a trade do that after you take it, and you're like, oh man, I'm in the money. Like this is going to
yeah,
TP for sure. Like look at that dump, and then it
yeah,
just like
100%.
turns around
Came
like
back
off that
almost just as
little
fast.
off that like little point, which like didn't even take liquidity. It's just like,
No,
oh, kidding
no,
me?
exactly. That's
And
why I was happy to hold
isn't
through
it?
it.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
It is a
Same, yeah,
supply to demand area, but given it
yeah.
took no liquidity and where we're coming from, I was happy to, yeah, hold through it. But I think the big thing with this one, I don't think like it's so much that, like, yes, that was the final catalyst
Nah,
for it,
it was
but
GU.
it was GU and that sweep.
Yeah,
So obviously this point is a valid demand. It's taken liquidity, and that's around that 50% of Asia. So that's a medium
yeah,
inducement.
yeah, yeah,
So, like with this, if we understand that we've only taken Asia highs, we know sellers are going to be brought in. Like that's typical manipulation that we'd want to target usually or sell after it's swept. Um, we don't have a medium inducement. Now we've got a medium inducement going against us, as well as on top of
yeah,
inducing a demand that broke a high. So we've got valid demand, sweep, valid demand, sweep. So
yeah.
like, yes, that
Plus
was
the
the
2 weeks.
final. Yeah, it's the final
like a
catalyst that
five
pushed
minute
it
two
up.
leg sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
it's had like a SMT reaction from that point.
Yeah, 100%.
So
100%.
even if there was no demand there that demand that it could have gone off, like it still makes sense to push bullish
Yeah. Yeah.
from there. Like even if it was just nothing there,
Yeah, 100%.
just because it's done a two
100%.
leg and there's like sellers have been induced. So
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Exactly. So it's yeah, I think it's more so just about what was swept to go against it versus what was swept to go with it. Um,
yeah,
so yeah, it's I think yeah, in a situation like that, if you have something like this near your 1 to 3, it's probably worth either not taking the trade because you might not get to your 1 to 3, or just take the 1 to 2 and a
target the
bit.
actual point. Yeah, rather
Yeah,
than the
like
number.
it's
Yeah,
it's 1 to 2.6. So it's
like
it's
that.
fairly
Yeah,
close. I
yeah.
think if it's
Like
not
I'd be
at
happy with that.
least, yeah,
Like
$100.
if I took 2.6 profit for a day, I'd be like, yeah, sweet. Like
Yeah, yeah,
that.
exactly.
Yeah,
You take 2.6 or nothing. Oh, I'm
yeah.
gonna take the 2.6.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah. So I think in a situation like that where you've got a medium inducement going against you, you don't have a medium inducement for the setup and a mitigation point. It's like, cool, just target that. If it's above like a 2.5, I think
yeah,
if
yeah,
you can't at least get 1 to 2.5, I personally just don't think it's worth the risk just from like a law of averages perspective.
yeah,
Like it
yeah. Makes
it
sense.
doesn't make
Yeah,
sense to. But yeah. So I definitely think that's at least 2.5%. Like even if you just target the whole area, it's 1 to 2.5. Um, I think that's 2.5% left on the table with
yeah.
that.
I agree. Yeah.
Um, I don't necessarily think there was anything wrong with the management. Um,
Nah,
and
it's just like reflections of it. Hey, like
yeah, yeah, it's like, oh, okay, this was the situation. I probably could have done this better.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, no, I think it's yeah, nothing wrong with it. Idea made sense, and holding to, I think it's also a good habit to be like, okay, this is where I'm targeting, this is where I'm holding to. I'm just gonna leave it rather
yeah.
than going, fuck, oh, might not get there or close it. Like
Fiddling with
it's
your trade. Yeah, because
yeah,
then you do that and you close at 2.5, and then it runs like
you
to your
get your one
TP,
to
which
three.
I have happened loads of times,
Yeah, yeah,
and it's just like, oh
100%.
fuck, yeah.
Yeah, you get annoyed and then it's like,
And then you get in a spiral about that, and then it's just like,
yep,
well, you don't know which side of the brain to listen to anymore, and you start making
yeah.
mistakes, and yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like you have to, what you've done for your analysis coming into the trade, I think is what has to be
needs to hold. Yeah,
you
that's
need
to
to
follow the
stick to
plan,
that
isn't it?
the
Yeah,
whole way
yeah,
through. Unless, it's like a situation where you've completely redone your analysis and you've gone,
mm,
okay, well, that makes sense, partially at that point or something like that. But
yeah,
yeah, I think your analysis that you come into a trade with should be the analysis that you ride through that trade and
yeah,
then assess afterwards,
yeah.
I
That's a
think.
better way of learning, I think. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, because then it's like you learn to trust yourself and just back yourself.
because you're like, this is my input, this is what happened, and this is
Yeah.
what I learned from the input that I gave it, rather
Yeah,
than like,
exactly.
oh, I gave it like three different inputs, and I don't know which part of it was the
Yeah.
part that ended up
Yeah.
with whatever the result was. Yeah,
100%. 100%. You can really get to that point of knowing, okay, cool. This was missed in my input. And because I missed that part of my input, I can clearly see that that was the catalyst as to why this was the outcome. And it's like,
yeah,
you know,
exactly. Yeah,
like if I had have just closed there because I went, fuck, it's like rejecting, fuck, I'll just close. I probably wouldn't have got to the understanding of knowing, okay, cool, well, there was this aspect of it, there was this aspect of it, there was what happened up here. Okay, cool, well, that's why that happened. I would have just gone, okay, cool, I've taken some profit, sweet.
yeah,
I,
sweet. Move on. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
probably
Yeah,
wouldn't have looked at it again.
yeah.
So
And
it's,
that's not the
yeah,
point, eh?
nah, 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 it's half the point, but Fuck, you
half a point.
never,
You know what I mean.
never scale. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We want to
100%.
make money,
Oh,
but like
I agree.
you
100%.
we got to be able to
100%.
do this shit sustainably day in day out,
Yeah,
right? So
bro.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Exactly. We could, but yeah, for New York, obviously, as we were speaking about earlier, really, really good inducement on EU. Like that inducement is so prime. But there's no way to get into that. Literally, the only way you could get into that would be, fuck, there's your break. Like you would have had to, you get
it's like a
oops.
break or two breaks or something like that. That's about
Yeah, you have to set that because that's retest. You got to run a 12 pip stop.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I'll like rarely take a trade off just like two confirmations now like that. Like I'll need to see some sort of
Yeah, no, I
inducement,
agree.
like second
I agree.
manipulation. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Since I've started training my eyes and allowing my eyes to see the market that way,
yeah.
yeah, they feel a bit like
They start to
they
feel
kind of
like,
feel like
oh
naked,
man,
bro. Like,
they,
you know?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's so true. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Like I'm
yeah.
just like, oh, this shit's getting induced. Like
I'm
I
kind
guarantee
of
it.
like,
Like,
oh
oh man,
shit.
like I
Yeah,
have to wait for retest to like get induced and then break and then I'll set it. Like I'm
yeah,
going with like
yeah.
that kind of outlook. But
100%.
yeah,
Like you just know it's a smart
that's the
money trap.
best. That's the best way to describe it. I feel a bit naked.
Yeah, yeah, bro. They feel naked. Yeah, yeah. But this would have been really tidy if they had done like that, came up and mitigated
Yeah,
that, and then
100%.
broke. Like that would have been a wicked limit.
Yep, yep,
But
absolutely.
just didn't want to play ball.
Mm.
Didn't want to play ball. So I'll get rid of that. Cool. This is one that I fumbled. Sweet. Right. Cool. London, London, London. This one's a little bit out of timing, actually. So if we actually look at what we've got in timing, yeah, see, I wasn't keen on buying here because I personally didn't see that as overly nice. I actually had that as a smart money point. I wasn't um I wasn't actually keen on buying out of there, so I wasn't keen on buying at all in this range. But yeah, that point just took no liquidity. I still stick with that fucking point shouldn't have held. Yeah. So if we are to look at that as a valid demand, like it is a 5 minute two leg, it is a supply to demand. So yeah, I'll give it that. Um, there's your extreme point. Following structure cycle rules, if that's going to hold, that shouldn't hold. So we can look to buy through it to take out that. So don't need to worry about anything above Asia high because structure cycle always overrules. If this had a swept that, that would have been a really nice limit. Besides the fact that it doesn't even get you a 1 to 2. But structurally, it's very nice. If we had to just had that, pull down and take that, nice. You do have like, small break there, valid demand. I just see this as still been stronger than that, even though the structure cycle side of things, I don't like buying from like a 1 minute point out of a point like that. Um, so yeah, if they had have induced, that would have been really clean. I still think that's probably worth the risk if you could get a 1 to 2.5 at least to the high, because you're already up for the week. So, I think it's valid in that sense. But you're better off given the positioning, just waiting for the medium inducement, waiting for the high to get taken, which you then have smart money point, two leg, go as soon as you break. That two leg, I fucked up this and had the whole leg covered. Just major error on my behalf. Your limit and same with Cal having that set was prime, 100%. So, so tidy. But this one, I definitely think holding to that low is the go with it, just given that what we've taken, the positioning of it, obviously you got that like bigger two leg, medium inducement. There's nothing between here and here that can push price back up. Like we know this should be a smart money point. We know this should be a smart money point. Um, our next medium inducement is that low. So following medium inducement versus medium inducement, like going to and from medium inducement, which is obviously like the basis of essentially like our whole strategy on the 15 minute, we should be targeting that at least.
Yeah. No,
Which is yeah.
that was I mean I took profits from, of course, but
Yeah.
I fumbled that with the management because uh yes, like it makes sense to go for that to take that low.
Yeah.
But I think I was like frustrated that I'd missed a couple of like nice trades earlier on in the week.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I was
Probably
like, I'm not like risking 1 to 3. Like just gonna close like that's good.
yeah. Yeah. Nah,
So it was
100%.
emotional TP. So that was like
Yeah,
definitely something to learn
for
from with that
sure.
one because yeah, it ended up going to
Yeah,
that low
really
anyway. So
nicely. Oh,
yeah, which is
absolutely
where Cal
melted.
held to. So that was credit to him.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know where Cal ended up getting out.
Oh, he that's right. I think he moved his stop to 1 to 3,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
yeah, just there where I
Yeah.
made those equal lows. I think he
Yeah.
moved his stop to 1 to 3, got taken out, and then it took the low. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I would say your management with this is probably a fair bit off the back of that.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
having this missed 1 to 3 just like that hit 1 to 2.9, I think. Yeah, 1 to 2.8. So just missing
yeah,
1 to 3 there, and then having 1 to 3 here. Like your brain's probably
yeah.
just
I was
gone,
like,
I'm just gonna take my 1 to 3 because I
don't
did
let
that on
it go.
the New York sell that day. I took 1 to 2.5 because we medium
Oh,
induced,
that's right.
and I was
Yeah,
like, I just took that break even. I'm closing. Just give me my fucking two and a
yeah.
half percent.
Give me something.
But
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I had a medium inducement with that trade, so I should have held to 1 to 3, which it
Mm,
ended up hitting. So that just goes to show like things can carry over and
yeah, for
they can
sure.
rattle you. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's goes to show
And
the
it doesn't
importance of
always
being on the
just like
ball.
make you take a loss like the next trade. Like
Yeah,
even you can still make money, but with it, but still kind
yeah,
of fumble the management. It's like, oh man,
yeah,
crazy.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, it's still annoying. It's annoying. I only took 1 to 3 on this because I had that huge stop. My stop was like almost
Yeah,
double
you
what
have to wait a bit
yours
longer,
was.
right? Yeah,
My 1 to 3
yeah,
was yeah down here.
yeah,
So I had to hold through all of that crap. I thought I was gonna have a
yeah.
repeat of
Because
this when we were
yeah,
respecting
because like,
that supply to demand.
well, that's it. Hey, that's it. Because it
Yeah.
was in a supply to demand, and I was like, this is yesterday's trade all over again. Fuck.
Yeah,
Nah,
yeah, I was like,
like,
no, we're not doing this again. Like, I was like, this one
yeah,
shouldn't
yeah.
hold. There's equal
I was like,
lows.
I'm risking 3% to make 1.6 R or something. I think it was like 4.6 or
Yeah,
something to that low that I was targeting. I was
yeah,
like, come on, like
not doing it.
close. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
nah,
So I'm not
100%.
mad about it, but it's also like, well, I didn't actually follow my analysis all the way through.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
If I'm honest with it, like,
yeah.
um, but still, not a terrible outcome. So,
No, no, of course, profit's profit at the end of the day. It's good. But yeah, I definitely
yeah,
think that like that sort of trade, I think there definitely should have been like at least four taken from it, from all of us, from all of us.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but good one to learn from. Like, learning from a thing of like, oh, I could have taken more profits is not a bad thing to learn from. Like,
It's the problem that I would like to is I'm happy with that problem. That's fine.
yeah, yeah, 100%. Yeah, if that's the issue with your trading is
Yeah,
you're leaving a little bit of profit on the table, and fuck, it's not bad at the end of the day.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, for New York that day, so obviously we induced that area. So we're at the extreme of that leg now. Got this supply to demand that had taken liquidity, very, very valid point, mitigated the extreme of that leg. We've got liquidity, like we're pretty aggressive from here to here, but we have generated liquidity on our pullback. So we can view it as a valid complex pullback and that this demand is going to hold. Obviously, this point as well being a 15-minute two leg, we can view that as being valid. So we can look for buys there, but we just run. We just run. Obviously, we get that break, mitigate that area, which we know shouldn't hold. So we get an internal inducement inside of our range. So if this had have set up something in here, like, whatever, like something like that, that would have been really, really clean. Just inducement, inducement, inducement. Obviously, that break there to have that set is just huge. But that would have been worth the risk. Just obviously doesn't set up. So all good, but clean price action. Price action this last week was just, it was so tidy. Cool. So London on the Wednesday, we weren't actually in the best spot. This is probably the worst day of the week. We'd induced this small point, which was a little demand to supply, but didn't really hold anything. It was good in the sense of medium inducement 5 minute two leg, also highly took Asia. So yeah, medium inducement, technically medium inducement and minor inducement. So you got that medium and minor inducement stack. Um, can then use, that whole area as a smart money point, but again, no entry. You can use that whole area as a smart money point in retest of that break, but again, no entry. Validating, I look for buys off of the sweep of that being retest, and we can view it as a medium inducement. Um, Nothing there. Obviously inside that range for a smart money trap reaction. Nothing there. Like yes, you have two breaks, but I'm not setting like that. You have to cover the whole fucking leg. No thanks. Yeah, just nothing. Just nothing really. Didn't even come into that top point really using that more or less. So yeah, I don't think anything really shapes up here. Nah, nah, no one's touching that dribble. I'm definitely not touching that dribble. That's rank. It's like melting anyway, so that's sweet. Cool. And then I do have this as an invalid area. So obviously we're up here for New York. This is a valid supply. It's taken liquidity. We've got break and retest into it. This is a valid supply in itself. We've broken a 15-minute low. So this portion of the range is very clean and very valid. The reason I have this as invalid is the complex pullback didn't really generate any liquidity. The momentum's just way too strong coming into that for me to look to sell it. So I was actually anticipating this point to get pushed through. We had heaps of news that day, so that is what it is. But yeah, just invalid for the complex pullback momentum. Thursday, again, this is a post-session one, so I'll go through, but this one's actually quite clean. I didn't actually see this one until I was gone over this before. This is the same setup as that GU cell. Um, so yeah, bit of an interesting one. Medium inducement, demand to supply that broke the low high outside of Asia. Very, very valid medium inducement, obviously as well. More or less like getting to the extreme of that bearish leg. beautiful complex pullback, heaps of liquidity. So this is what I mean, like the difference between this and this. Just that's just straight range back up, super strong momentum. Whereas this is just slow. Exactly what we want to see. Cool. So we've got that medium inducement. We then get a 5 minute two legs. We've got that minor inducement there as well, obviously coming into that extreme area. Following with that bearish 15-minute structure cycle and the inducements, looking for this point to prove it's a smart money trap. We have our first break here. We have our retest here. I do think this was valid to have set as a limit until you get to here. Having that as your invalidation, just because you do definitely need to confirm that area as a smart money trap. So then you're waiting. You do get that break there and that break, but again, just that limit can sit there. Is just it's way too close to your break even area. You've still got imbalance up inside here and points we can come and fill. It's waiting for it to step its way up. Got the inducement there, but again, no entry. Get your inducement there. Oops, what did I just do? Cool. Look, you can use that point as a smart money trap. So now you've got inducements inside your range. You respect on the height, they'd make equal highs. So you've got your one inducement, smart money, push up, take a retest, obviously break high again. Smart money point, not looking for it to hold. Little inducement, little two leg. I do think that's valid. Not the best price action by any means. Heaps of liquidity built up, which is really nice. So I think it's a valid limit, and I think it's worth the risk to have that set. And GU was so much cleaner, so you're so much better off taking GU, but I do think that's also valid in itself. Yeah, I don't think there's any reason to take on break two legs again. Want to confirm that area as a smart money trap, which we get to after breaking that low. So iffy in that sense. But yeah, clean trade, very, very internal, potentially a bit of a hindsight one. But yeah, I do think it's clean, but GU is so much better. So having your attention on GU rather than that is definitely the way to go about it. But
Yeah. I
yeah,
reckon like in that little piece of price action there on the 1 minute, um, like if you did take that limit there, you probably would have taken a couple of losses beforehand because
yeah,
you pretty much got that exact same setup, but just that was the one that followed through.
yeah,
Like
exactly,
just in
exactly.
that leg just previous, you got a little two leg up. If it
Yeah,
breaks the two leg, confirming the smart money trap, then
yeah,
you end up
yeah,
taking the loss. But yeah, yeah,
yeah.
that's
That
it.
did actually mitigate that. So yeah, I do think that. Where's the fucking high?
Like that's just as valid
Yeah, yeah. So
as the
that's
one
one
that
where
followed
you
through.
potentially wear that
Yeah,
loss and then look to re-enter potentially if you wanted to.
potentially. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. I definitely think there's
Because you
there's room for a
still,
loss in there for
yeah,
sure.
there's room for a loss in there.
Especially yeah, inside of that. Like it's a
That little
very
section.
internal break because obviously you're yeah, all of it's internal anyway. So yeah, you very well could use that as a break, two breaks, internal inducement, smart money, two leg. Yeah, there's room for a loss in that for
Yeah,
sure. 100%.
yeah.
100%. So whether you keep riding them out, but I think at that same time, I think you're probably already
Depends on what
in,
the divergence was with GU, I suppose, at the
yeah,
time.
yeah, you're already in GU, even by that first
Oh
one.
yeah. So that's
You're
even by
you're
the
well
first
and
one. Yeah, yeah.
truly in GU.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, GU was the one that got away.
Yeah. Yeah, G is definitely the one that got away for sure, 100%. Yeah, you're not even
GU's
watching
not
for
too
that.
bad, not too gutted about missing that because yeah,
Yeah, yeah, oh, 100%. 100%. Completely agree. Completely agree. Yeah, especially with you already being in GU, you're not even reading
Probably wouldn't
into
have
that.
mattered. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Nah, nah. But I think EU on its own, just looking at, oh, it's done in the 5 minute. What the fuck, man? If you were to just be looking at EU on its own, I think it'd be worth the risk to have at least a limit set in that.
Yeah, to have a crack. Like it's not bad 15-minute structure, like with the
Yeah,
targets and stuff. But yeah,
choppy as fuck, but not too bad. Like you wouldn't be too cut about taking a loss in that.
yeah, yeah,
And then yeah, for New York, obviously not expecting this area to hold given structure cycle. Yeah, so that broke. So yeah, clean area, not too bad, but there's just no entry in there. Like that pushed through, so now you're done. Um, yeah, if that had pushed up and then given some sort of smart money trap reaction inside of that leg or whatever, would have been clean. But yeah, there's just no entry in that. I think there's some people in fucking WWA that took an entry in there, but personally don't don't rate it. Cool. Friday. This was internal as fuck, but I actually really liked it. Um, cool. Big out this area that was a point that had taken liquidity, was a supply to demand area as well. Obviously, same story as GU at the time. We just had taken so much liquidity. It was ridiculous. Coming out of that mitigation, expecting obviously to be able to get a push up, knowing that if this is going to be a smart money trap, we're going to get a bit of a reaction at least. And we've got a new bearish leg, which we had started to confirm complex pullback for. So this one was quite an internal read. I made it quite hard on myself taking this and not GU, quite frankly. But 5 minute break, retest, inducement obviously of retest, break, two leg, inducement demand, supply to demand, break, inducement, miss the mitigation, break, valid demand, inducement of valid demand into mitigation of valid demand. Out of that point, you have obviously break, smart money, inducement, smart money confirmed, mitigation of smart money, break, smart money confirmed, valid demand area. Get rid of that. Mitigation of top point, not expecting it to hold given the inducements, the mitigations, and following along with that bullish structure cycle on the 5 minute. Break to the downside, second break to the downside, internal mitigation, potentially confirming smart money trap. One break, smart money trap area, two leg. This is why I really liked EU because our second inducement came into our range. So that's why I actually really liked it. You then obviously have smart money area, retest, inducement of retest, break, two leg, break, then I have my limit set. When we broke that high, I was break even here, around here when GU swept. Let us just double check where that was. Yeah. So yeah, I was break even there. So I thought I was gonna get smoked to be honest. GU taking that high and
yeah. It was that was good that I held on for you.
yeah, you only
I
just
would have
I
thought,
wanted to
yeah,
wait for that, but I was
there's
like,
50% of Asia as well on
it
GU, so
was,
I
yeah.
would have thought I might have given a little bump down, but no,
Yeah,
it's
I thought I
good.
was fucked. I
Yeah,
thought I
I
was
was done.
done. I was
Yeah,
expecting honestly it to come down and sweep that and then potentially run.
yeah,
Um,
because you weren't really protected by any
I was protected by
inducements at that
nothing.
point. nothing at
Yeah,
that point. Like, and
nothing.
Even GU didn't have like auto induce
Had
either close
nothing.
by.
Yeah,
So if it was going
neither
to
of
come
them
down,
had
it was going to take you out for sure. But
100. Yeah, exactly, 100%. And yeah, with that being 50% of Asia, there's no way I couldn't have gone break even. Like I've got marked out. I really wanted to wait for that high, but
yeah, but if you copped the
couldn't.
loss, you would have been like, well, I know why, because I didn't go break even
Bro,
because of what
such an
GU was
avoidable
doing.
loss. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
such an avoidable loss. But yeah, you get the follow through obviously on that, which is nice. This area was sketchy as being a valid supply, so my 1 to 3 was obviously there. That's a 5 minute point, the last 5 minute point. So I believe if I can just get to that 5 minute point. Um, EU on its own makes sense to take that, but GU again, GU has been the catalyst for this setup. And GU was the one I should have been in, but like I said, I had to make it hard.
yeah,
Before I even got to take profit, GU had medium induced to the
yeah.
opposite side. And I had no
And
medium
then
inducement going with me on EU.
yeah, and EU's in that supply area now, so it
Yeah.
can make sense for it to like have an SMT reaction
Yeah,
for like a couple
exactly.
of hours. It could like form like a janky
Yeah.
5 minute two leg, and you just like steal in the trade, and it's just like, oh man,
Yeah, exactly. Well, EU could have
yeah,
sold because that's the decisional of that break and it's a valid supply
yeah,
and
yeah,
GU's induced.
yeah,
They could have just
with
done that from
momentum,
there.
yeah, yeah, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
that whole area. So yeah, I was like, just give me 1 to 3. My temptation to close this so many times was that high. That's why I ended up putting my stop to 1 to 2.
Oh yeah,
Um,
with those equal highs, yeah, yeah,
yeah, I was like, because with everything, the positioning, the mitigation, the inducement, the no medium inducement on EU, I was like, I'm not going to break even on
If
this
that
while he's taking one to
if that
two.
had turned around and stopped you out, do you reckon you would have been like, fuck, I should have closed? It was sitting there like point
I would
one
have been
away,
pissed.
like
I would have been
yeah,
pissed,
yeah.
bro. Look at it.
Yeah, look at that. It does like
It's
quadruple
so
equal
many
highs. It's
times.
about one, two, three,
I
four,
actually got
five.
slipped into my take profit
Oh yeah.
on that candle. That last candle that actually slipped and hit my take profit.
Oh, that one slipped you. Yeah.
So
And
yeah,
then it gave those couple of big candles after that.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, my stop loss was 335. So that was my 1 to 2, which was beneath retest. So
Yeah.
I had a feeling it might have done this. I
Yeah,
was
it's a tricky one, eh?
It
Yeah.
was tricky, but man, there was no way, given the positioning and that I wasn't at least taking 2%
And
out
take
of it.
something from it.
I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
taking something. I was taking something.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, obviously I'm getting TP. It ends up running through to obviously that next high. Um, and taking that out, which would have been what 1 to 4.5. But just given context, it's just not worth it. And EU as well, it did actually technically medium induce against me. High that took Asia high, which broke low. So that in itself was technically a medium inducement into a mitigation with liquidity
Mm.
built up.
Yeah, I hadn't
So
noticed that. So yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So that was yeah. I was kind of lucky to get my 1 to 3 on that, to be honest. I don't think lucky, like it made sense to get the mitigation, but yeah,
Yeah.
I thought I
Oh,
was
you'll take it.
fucked. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Also,
it.
you can see a couple of factors as to where it
Yeah.
could have gone wrong. Yeah.
Oh shit, yeah, 100%. 100%. Josh is going to hate me for this, but obviously this is like tentative NFP, so not trading it. But if there wasn't that, I actually think it's valid for buys. So inside of a bullish leg, we've got our retest here of our break. We've pushed through this point. We've got a 2 leg down, which we know is typically smart money trap on the 15 minute, into inducement of retest, into mitigation of that whole area, coming out of a strong demand with imbalance still to come and fill. We've got easy bro, no stress. Um, Coming into the session. You had demand area here. Oops. Demand area here, which very well could have been utilized to sell through if we're in timing, but obviously it's out of timing. Pre-session, we get that inducement. We've got now break structure to the upside, internal supply to demand area into mitigation of smart money trap, following off the back of that bullish leg, the retest, and the two leg that we've got there. Knowing that the two leg shouldn't hold, looking to use that as our smart money point, we get our inducement to the downside. So we've got one inducement, two inducement. That would have been valid on its own to set if we didn't push through and take that. So I think that's valid, which you may have actually gotten tagged in on depending on how that candle formed, but you break even there anyway. So makes it a bit iffy in that sense. But if we had gotten something as smart money trap inside of this leg, that would have been very clean to have set. But obviously we didn't get that. But yeah, looking for buys in there would have made more sense. You would have been better off wearing that break even, not even holding to the take of that high, which again, probably end up getting, or you may have been safe. Because if we're pushing through here, we're more or less going to push through there. Fuck, you would have been safe on it until news. Yeah, news would have got you. But yeah, valid area for buys, but just yeah, tentative NFP. We don't want to be trying to touch any of that. So all in all, EU really solid week. 1 to 3. That one you definitely could have taken a loss. I call it 2R. You could have held that, so call it 4. So now you're up 6. That one's very, very tricky, and very hard to read and potentially a hindsight one. So even if we just look at 3, you're in GU, you're not touching any of that. So you're up 3R, you're up at least 4. So there's 7. That one should have been closed from 2.5. So there's 9.5. So there's literally a 20R week, excluding any of that and excluding that massive sell on GU, which again should have been 1 to 4.5. So yeah, so potential for a 20 and a half hour week, sorry, 25-hour week or whatever it is, 24, whatever, fuck, works out to be. Someone else can do the maths. But yeah, really, really clean. Cool. Jump in and have a look at this group data. Sweet. All right. Seventh. What was that?
Week before.
That was a week before, eh? Yeah, sweet. Cool. Cool. Oh, what's up, bro? I thought you were Matt for a second.
Hey, hey.
Matt, are you on? Yeah, he's wicked.
Yeah, just I just had to get my washing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was, yeah, for some reason I had Zoom changed in a weird way. It was only showing one camera.
Oh
So,
yeah.
like, seeing that pop back, I'm like, oh, yeah, Matt's back on. I was like, fuck, that doesn't sound like Matt. All right, cool, cool, cool. I don't know how much, what did you jump on, Josh? How much did you catch?
5 minutes. So
All right,
just the
sweet.
part A. And I
Did you
heard you
get
said
that EU
hey.
breakdown just then?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I think Vise was so valid. I just
Made
was caught
sense?
in a short-sighted sell.
Yeah, yeah. I think the cell was really clean
Like
once we
even
took
that
that two
range,
leg.
like that whole 15-minute external range, you'd expect it to be blown through anyway. Like it's a straight range, there's no liquidity to take. I was so
Yeah,
zoned in on just the session and not taking a step back. So I think Vise was so valid. Yeah.
yeah, yep. I think even as well, like even if you are to expect that range to hold. We've pushed through the decisional. Where's the next place it's come to? It's come to the extreme.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So it's yeah, like the 1 minute claim read was clean for sure, 100%. Um, but yeah, tricky one. Good one to learn from though.
Mm.
Cow 7 trades, 3 break-evens, 1.4, the 1 to 2.8. Yeah, he took that with us. Sweet, it's good. That's a bit of a change because I know there was a week there where there was like 3 2.8s or something. So that's good. 2 wins, 3.3 and 1 R where oh that hurts. I'm gonna assume that was EU.
Yeah,
Fuck
that's the one
that.
I was